why is healing important and what does it actually look like? Okay, so we started to talk about the number one obvious reason is that moms don't like the way that it looks, okay? So the very popular pictures are the ones where women have kind of that like teardrop, okay, where postpartum their rectus abs have not come back together. The linea alba has basically stretched, usually in this area, to create this kind of a what they call teardrop effect. And a lot of women don't like that. I'm going to tell you right now, I've asked over and over again, many PTs, many practitioners who are up on the latest education on fascia and healing, all of them say the only way to fix that is surgery, okay? The only way to get those abs back together. Now, this is way postpartum, okay? Women shouldn't even be thinking about surgery until at least 2 years postpartum, okay? At least 2 years postpartum to think about surgery, and that they've done everything else, that they've tried Pilates, that they've been to a PT, all right? But if women want that hole gone and they want those abs right back together, surgery is the only thing that does that, okay? But our job is to help moms so that it doesn't get to that point, if possible, okay? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But what are some other reasons why we want to heal? So I've heard stories of, one story in particular of a yoga teacher who, before we really even knew what it was, postpartum, hers was so severe that literally her organs would be popping out in a sense, and she would just have to like tuck them back in. Okay, so that's a problem, obviously. The emotional effects. Fear. This is a big one, okay? Several of my clients tell me that they have ignored their stomach because of the fear of making it worse. So I had a client who was 7 years postpartum and said, I mean, she like worked out all the time. She was just never did abdominals. And I don't know how that's even possible, because you obviously, your abs are involved in everything that you do. So she was probably making it worse without even knowing it. But that's a big one, fear, okay? And then I had another client who I asked her how often she thought about it, because it was a very big concern to her. She was like a year and a half postpartum. Hers was severe in the sense of there was definitely a widening there, and it ended up that hers did not come back together. Now the only thing is I didn't get to see her until she was 18 months postpartum. She didn't even come to me. One of the best marketing techniques for you as a teacher is encouraging women during pregnancy to practice Pilates, modified Pilates using Hug the Baby, knowing what you're doing, to help prevent further issues down the road. So yesterday we determined that you can't, in pregnancy, prevent the widening and thinning of the linea alba because it's necessary, okay? But what you can do is prevent issues down the road, and you can actually help it to heal by practicing modified Pilates, which is everything that we go through in the Pilates protocol for Diastasis Recti, and what we'll be going through in the Teach Diastasis Tomorrow workshop, which is next week. Okay, I started to talk about what my client had said. My client said, I asked her how often she thought about it, she said 70% of the time. Okay. And I'll tell you, anytime somebody gives you an answer to something, they're probably like lessening it. That's devastating to be worrying about it. And she was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, to be going throughout your day worrying about like your stomach, like that's stressful. And stress breaks down tissue. Okay. Rachel Goranson of Live Long Pilates asked about, she is, by the way, if you have the prenatal 34 mat posters, she is the model in those pictures. Anyway, she asked about meditation, why meditation would be beneficial for healing. And it's because stress breaks down tissue. Cortisol breaks down tissue. So emotional effects, okay? But then let's talk about, does it cause pain? You know, there's been all these rumors that diastasis recti causes pain, that women can have low back issues because of it. And those are all true in the sense of when you have weak abdominals, those can be contributing factors, but there is no conclusive evidence that says because you have a widening and thinning of the linea alba, you're going to have pain or low back issues, any of that, okay? A little side note, pain usually is a sign of a disconnect in the nervous system, again, with stress, and isn't always a, mechanical alignment, is not always an alignment issue, okay? So something to keep in mind. So pain is not associated with diastasis recti, okay? If a woman has like back pain and diastasis, there's gonna be other reasons for that, not just that she has diastasis. Okay, she's probably stressed out. She's probably on her second or fifth baby. Lots of other factors, because there's plenty of women that have widening and thinning of the linea alba and don't have back pain, don't have problems. Okay, so I had an experience when I was first starting to learn about this condition. And that's one of the best things you can do, by the way, just to build your credibility as a teacher, is to really dig in on your own and learn from several different people, because what you'll notice is there will be a common theme. And that's what you can start to trust is actually the best way to heal, is especially learning from physical therapists who do this, only this. And have the ability to do ultrasounds, things like that. When I was first learning, I decided I would do a little experiment on my own, and I found two of my friends, actually by mistake, in like this big mom group in Las Vegas. And one of them, actually both of them, were asking if anybody knew a good surgeon for a tummy tuck that was under $10,000. That was the question, okay? And I was like, you know what? Before you do that, just come in. I want to see if I can help you before you go and do that. We had I had 5 sessions with each of them, okay? And we worked on the equipment. And the number one thing that I did was made sure that they knew that their everyday movement, what they were doing throughout the day, was on point. Because what it really comes down to is what a woman is doing throughout her day is what's causing it or not. So let's say, and it's your job as the teacher to let her know that, to teach her these things. So the Pilates principles need to be practiced on the outside. So if a woman it has a little diastasis, widening and thinning of the linea alba. And she goes to pick up her toddler. She just went to a great Pilates class, and she goes to go pick up her toddler and doesn't practice the principles of Pilates. My dog is having a asthma attack right now. I don't know if you can hear that. These are the problems with working at home. If she's not practicing the principles of Pilates, then she's going to be causing it throughout her day. Okay. And what are you seeing your clients twice a week for an hour, maybe? So it's really reiterating to them over and over again that what they're doing throughout their day is what's going to heal. Okay. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. Okay. Or just comments. Let me know if this is resonating or not. Anyway, brought these ladies in, we did like 5 sessions in, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks, everyday movement. And one of them was the one that was thinking about, or that was ignoring her tummy for 7 years. She had a 7-year-old, had diastasis, ignoring her tummy, okay? The other one had, I think she was like 3 years postpartum, which is again, when, if your client has tried all these things, they don't even want to be thinking about surgery until like 2 or 3 years postpartum. I would say like 3, because it takes fascia up to 2 years to regenerate, and maybe even longer. The one that ignored her belly for 7 years ended up healing like so easily. It was amazing. Her skin was tight, and we didn't do any, like all we did was some Pilates, and I taught her some safe everyday movement stuff. Okay. Now you would think I would have gotten pictures and all of that, but I didn't. My other client, I don't think she ever ended up having to get the surgery, but what she was able to do is feel stronger within herself. So aesthetically, I don't think she was as pleased as she wanted to be, but internally she was stronger. She got her core stronger. Okay. And if you can get your clients to that point where their abdominal, what the research calls manometric system, turned on from the inside out, which Pilates already does, you're going to be way ahead of the game. Okay, your clients are going to be way ahead of the game. So here's the other problem, okay, and this is why women need Pilates teachers, to basically bridge the gap between the OBGYN visit and the surgeon, okay, or even the PT. OBGYNs are the ones who are checking for it and telling women right away that they're going to need surgery. Surgery is the only thing that's going to tighten this up. OBGYNs are not physical therapists, okay? That's why a physical therapist needs to be involved when it comes to asking about surgery. Where you fill in the gap from that is if we can get OBGYNs to say, hey, I know a really great Pilates teacher that specializes in healing diastasis recti. Why don't you go see her? Let's see if we can get some work done with some deep core work, and I would say, give it at least 3 months to see some progress. Then, if it's not getting better, see the PT, okay? And then working with the PT is going to help determine whether she needs surgery or not. But even if she ends up getting surgery, what you're doing with her is going to be game changing, because you take a woman OBGYNs usually won't tell women about their everyday movement. They won't tell them they need to squat down and exhale first to lift their lower abs to pick up a box or the stroller. They don't tell them that when you're pushing the heavy stroller, okay, or the heavy cart, that you can't hold your breath and push out like a Valsalva. You don't want to do that. It's exhale, lower abs connected, middle abs, upper abs, okay? Start the exhale, then do the movement in pretty much everything, okay? Until you get to that healing point, okay? So this is why healing is important. Number one, it helps women to have hope that their core is resilient and strong. And with work and all the right nutrition in place, rest in place, thoughts in place, they are going to feel so much better. And then the aesthetic side of it, okay, what it looks like, that can be dealt with down the road if it's still an issue, okay? There are things that can tighten up the skin. Here's the other thing I want to make sure that you're clear with is that there's nothing wrong with, and we don't ever want to shame our moms for caring what their tummy looks like. I know a lot of women, pregnant women, postpartum women will be very upset about the way that their abs look now. And people will tell them, well, you should just be grateful that you have a healthy baby and just show your core some respect and love no matter what it looks like. And that's all awesome. Like, that's good. But the aesthetic part is important. And if that really is getting in the way of a woman's self-worth, that's okay. Like, we all want to look our best, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what you really want to make sure. And this is what makes you different from like a teacher who might think otherwise. The kind of relationship that you'll be able to build with your clients. And whenever you build this relationship with your clients, guess what? She's going to tell her friends about you. And you're going to become, like Anna in Poland, the go-to Diastasis Recti healing Pilates teacher in your area. And I'll tell you, a lot of teachers are not doing this, okay? That's the other thing. Some may think that they know what they're doing. And maybe they do without having taken a training or looking into it. Maybe they do. For me, in education, if you're like me, I like to look deep into things and make sure I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and making sure I know exactly what I'm doing so that I'm not causing issues. So, okay, what does it actually look like? We kind of started to talk about that. It looks like, it may not always look like the rectus abs coming back together, but it might. What it's going to look like is, number one, when you do the assessment, that linea alba is going to have some resiliency. It's going to have some bounce. And we go in this really deep in the workshop. But where you want to start the palpation for the assessment, which you're teaching your clients to do, you're not doing unless you're a PT. And you're not making them lift their shirt, by the way. You're just doing it like this, unless they're comfortable lifting their shirt. You start at the top of the sternum, right below where that cartilage is. That's kind of your telling, that's kind of where you can be confident that the linea alba is still intact, has not been stretched. So that's what you're going to compare the rest of the linea alba to, okay? Let's go over some timelines. During pregnancy, all you're doing is prevention in the sense of working lower abs, middle abs, upper abs, making sure she's not doming, working on breathing. Labor labor and birth is actually a big one. And we go over this again extensively in the workshop. The labor and birth, you can cause issues because it's a pressure thing. So if you're pushing, you can cause a hernia. And you can cause a diastasis to get worse because there's so much pressure. It's just like hemorrhoids or pelvic organ prolapse. If you're pushing too hard, something's going to pop out if there's a weak spot. Dr. Sarah Duvall, I think, if I'm correct, she told a story about how during her birth, she asked her husband to hold her abs in so that she wouldn't dome and wouldn't pop out, so that she didn't cause a hernia. So, you know, it really is simple in that sense of just managing intra-abdominal pressure. Postpartum, early postpartum, real easy, super modified Pilates, just starting to build, a lot of breathing. We're not going to do any flexion yet in that, at least any loaded flexion in that early postpartum, which is 3 to 4 months up to from, let's say, like 6 weeks when she's cleared from her doctor, to 3 to 4 months. And then we look at the rest of the time, which is up to a year. Here's a fact from research. Athletes, okay, athletes at 6 months postpartum only had 50% of their original abdominal strength back. This is athletes, okay? I had to remind a client of mine this morning of this. She's a retired aerialist for 19 years and gymnast her whole life. She's 37 years old, 4 months postpartum, and she said, I want to check again to see if I have any of the separation or widening and thinning. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. We want to say widening and thinning of the linea alba instead of separation of the rectus abs. And when I reminded her that, you know, athletes don't get full strength back, at least this is what research is saying, that helped her to breathe. That helped her to relax and say, okay, I'm on the right track then. And we checked her, and when she contracts, she's got a nice firm linea alba. She's doing great. But if you get someone who's not, so let's say 6 months postpartum, she's not getting any, like there's no, or not, I shouldn't say no, but the progress is a lot slower than you might think. Maybe she just needs more time. Dr. Sinead said you could work with a woman up to a year, and if she's not seeing progress, then send her to a PT. But when it comes to thinking about surgery, I would really wait like at least 2 years, because that's that collagen, which is what the linea alba is made from, this connective tissue. It takes 6 months to 2 years to regenerate. It's not as fast as muscle. Muscle takes, like 6 weeks? And I think that's where, do you remember when OBGYNs used to tell women that they could go back to doing anything they wanted to do, like whatever exercise they were doing before, they could do it 6 weeks postpartum? Well, that might be where it comes from, that like wounds heal pretty quickly, muscles heal pretty quickly, tendons, fascia doesn't. It's a very slow process, but the good news is that it's always happening. There's always regeneration happening. We're constantly regenerating. So, questions? Any questions there? Let me know. We're about to wrap it up here. I just want to make sure I answered those 2 questions. Why is healing important? Aesthetically, moms want to feel their best. They want to feel strong, okay? And what does it actually look like? It's building that strength from the inside out, and it doesn't always physically look like it's all the way together. And the main thing, if I can give you just any advice that you can take right now, work on intra-abdominal pressure and avoid doming. So next Wednesday, December 15th, we are doing a live workshop. It's a paid workshop with Dr. Sinead Dufour. She's going to do the first hour, and we're going to talk about everything beyond like movement, okay? Like nutrition, how important nutrition and rest is for healing. Then the next 3 hours, we're going to go through the 34 Pilates mat exercises and how to modify them for beginning healing, intermediate healing, and advanced, which I'll be explaining then, how to tell that. And that's just the workshop, okay? That's just the live workshop. There'll be a replay of that. But then I already have created an entire, basically it's a course, it's a mini course, laying out all of the research and basically in the Delphi consensus study. And what we've done is translated it into Pilates teacher language. The research, the specifics are not very specific. It's very general, actually. So we've taken them, and Dr. Sinead has gone through all of the content to ensure that it is spot on, that I haven't missed anything. And we go through prenatal, labor and birth, early postpartum, later postpartum, what the research says, how to apply it to Pilates. And plus I've got other content in there for you, examples of how to assess. We go deep into that. I have a bonus session with a client who is about, and in the session, she's like 2 months postpartum, totally beginning mover, okay? And we go through, I think, 1 through 14 of the mat exercises. And I mean, we break it down, like really break it down. And there's some other goodies in there as well, like some past visits that I've had with Dr. Sinead Dufour. Let me know if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Can somebody just give me like a thumbs up or a yes if this was helpful to you, if those 2 questions were answered? And I just want to tell you how grateful I am and how much the world needs you, how women need you. And my entire big crazy vision is that Pilates teachers are going to help moms to feel the best that they can feel so that they are raising children with the best parenting possible, because they feel so amazing, because their children, all the kids you see right now, in 20 years, they're going to be our leaders. They're going to be the ones that are leading this country. And I really believe it starts with the parents. Awesome. Thank you. Good. I'm glad that that's helpful, the way that I explain it. So feel free to message me if you have any other specific questions. And to sign up for the workshop, go to pregnancypilatesimpact.com, and you have to put in the www. I don't know why. www.pregnancypilatesimpact.com/DRA, and it's capitals, DRA. As of right now, you just put in your name and email, and it sends you an email, and you can early enroll. As of tonight, December 10th, Pacific Standard Time, I'll be opening up the sales page so that you can see everything that is included. I'm going to show what each module, I don't call it modules, which each part has. I've got some stories coming up from teachers who have already gone through it and are finding some great success with working with the breathing techniques. And remember that this can be helpful. Your clients don't just have to be pregnant and postpartum. This is incredibly helpful for people who want to have babies, for people who are 10 and 20 years postpartum that might be dealing with a core strength issue, and it might have to do with this. You can teach your men this stuff. So it's not just for pre and postnatal, and I just am grateful for all of you who are sticking around so long. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and let me know if you need anything else, and have an amazing evening. Have an amazing, safe Friday.